Hello there, welcome back. Today we are going to do another speed home build, and yeah, I've been really enjoying these. I went on Pinterest and Google it and just sort of saw some homes that I really enjoyed, and we're just gonna take a little bit of inspiration from them. And yeah, so we're gonna do a nice kind of small home. Yeah, so this part, if you were wondering what I'm doing, sometimes I like to see what it looks like on the gallery. So what I'll do is I'll just do like a square, not a square, like a rectangle or something, and paint each of the sides. And then when I click the gallery, I can see which side it actually takes it from. Because I've made that mistake numerous times where I ended up doing a lot, especially the corner lots where I do the front door on the wrong side, and then the gallery takes the side of the house and not the front of the house, which I don't really like. So I do that, and in this video I just decided to include that in, just if you guys wanted to, you know, see the behind the scenes kind of process. And yeah, so I did start this build off in a really weird order. So I did columns all around the sort of porch area, and that was because I had in my mind an idea that I wanted a wraparound porch. I did a couple of builds ago, one called like glass roof farmhouse or something. That one is kind of a similar style, so it has it has this like front porch and stuff like that, but this one is a little bit cooler, I guess, because you can go all the way around the porch, which is super nice. And also, this one uses a lot of cats and dogs items. So yeah, I at one point saw that I started to use a lot of cats and dogs items. So then I started to sort of only use cats and dogs items. Yeah, but I think I still managed to use some other packs as well. And yeah, so this is something that I don't know why I've never done before, but it just now dawned on me in this video to do or to actually make the floor tiles kind of line up against each other, because it's easy to just do the floor tile and press shift and then make it go around the entire like porch area, but on one of the sides it won't go like the length of the porch, if that makes sense. So instead what I did was I just created like a diagonal where they meet in the corners, and that's it. And yeah, so it's a huge wraparound porch, and it's a pretty square house. And just based on the size of this house, I actually thought it was going to be pretty small. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it is slightly on the smaller side, but it does have like 2 large bedrooms. Actually, the bedrooms turned out to be pretty large. I know in the farmhouse one, I ended up having to do like a 3x3 bedroom, and like that is probably like one of the smallest bedrooms that you can have. But this one, for being a pretty small home, it actually turns out to be pretty decently sized. I did do a little bit of something different in this home. So usually I really like open concept, where, you know, the kitchen kind of opens into the dining room, which opens into the like family room. And this one is a little bit special because it actually is like segmented into different rooms. So almost every single room has its own room, if that makes sense. So the kitchen is in its own room, the dining room is in its own room, the family room is in its own room, and you'll see that later on. And yeah, so this house is also kind of interesting too, because there's 2 floors, but it kind of looks like there's one, but the second floor is just kind of hiding underneath the roof. I would have really liked that one roof to be a little bit more shallower. As you can see, one of the roof is a lot more steeper than the others. That was kind of the issue because it wouldn't cover the wall height. I mean, in real life, on the second floor, you would actually have like sloped ceilings a little bit, but that's not a thing in The Sims. So the ceilings are all normal, and I just had to cover it up with the roof. And that also means building and furnishing on the second floor is extremely hard. I think I actually haven't put this in live mode yet, but when you build, you have to put like all the walls down on the second floor to actually see the second floor. So it makes furnishing the like walls really hard. Like it's really hard to put like paintings on the wall and stuff like that. And also once you place the item on the wall, it just disappears because the walls are down. And yeah, it makes it a little bit hard. But if you saw the upstairs, there's like 2 dormers on either side. So what's really cool is that the dormers poke out. So when you do put the walls down, when you actually put the walls, like the cutaway walls, you can actually see inside. So it helps a little bit. You can put a couple of like paintings on the second floor and stuff. And yeah, so here's a process of me just trying to figure out where to put the stairs. Stairs was a little bit hard, especially because, you know, the sides that I wanted to put it on, it just wouldn't be viable on like the second floor. And in the end, I put it here. And you might think like, oh, that's like the weirdest position for stairs. And you could be right, you know, that's given. But it actually turns out to be decently well. The only thing though is that the kitchen is a little bit smaller than I would have liked. And that's basically because I made all the rooms like into separate rooms. If I was to do open concept, this place would be like massive. And yeah, it's just because the kitchen is kind of cramped into a room. And yeah, but it's still a pretty large home. I did manage to get a study in, which I guess you can kind of convert into like a 3rd bedroom if need be. The only thing though is that, you know, the downstairs bathroom doesn't really have a place to like clean yourself, like a bath or a shower. So you would have to go all the way upstairs. And yeah, so also specifications for this build. This is a 2-bedroom, 3-bath. Yeah, 2-bedroom, 3-bath. Well, 2.5 bath because one of the bathrooms is a half bath, which means it doesn't have like a bath or a shower or anything like that. And yeah, I actually thought that looking at the blank flooring of the like second floor that it would be really hard to come up with a floor plan, but it actually turns out to be pretty nice. The master has an ensuite, and the ensuite is like pretty large. The only thing though is that, like I said before, furnishing the second floor is really tough. So the bathrooms are really bland. I don't know if I actually put anything on the walls. And I also didn't, I don't know if I also got the pictures for it in the screenshot section. Yeah, because I might have skipped over that because the bathrooms aren't really that interesting. I will say that the half bathroom, I think I did include that one in the screenshots, but I think the half bathroom is actually like more interesting than the bathrooms for the like Sims upstairs. And yeah, so this is the furnishing of the kitchen. As you can see, it's really tiny. I could have got like a microwave as well in this build, but it was already a small like kitchen area and I didn't really want it to be even more cramped. But I think it's okay. I think it's not bad. This is definitely kind of like an older house, so I guess the idea is like the kitchen is tucked away instead of being like new and modern and open concept, that the kitchen is kind of someplace that you don't share to guests. Like when guests come over, you eat at like the formal dining room and you go like to the outdoor dining area or whatever, but the kitchen is someplace that, you know, you don't really show to your guest. So that was kind of like the idea a little bit. And yeah, so it's okay that the kitchen's small. You know, maybe your Sims that live here aren't like super into cooking. They don't really care if they have like a gourmet kitchen. And you know, this kitchen's not terrible either. It's pretty nice. I mean, you have 2 countertops to prepare food. And yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible kitchen. It is definitely one of the smaller kitchens I've done though. And yeah, the furnishing of this place is a little bit more traditional than I usually do. I know I usually like to do modern homes and things like that, but yeah. And above that trash can on the walls, if you are wondering what those little things are, again, I've been trying to use a lot of items that I've never used before, i.e. this light and the wall light. I never use those lights, but I think that they were from like Spa Day or something, and they were like towels. So I thought, maybe they're like dish towels, because it sinks across from those towel racks. So yeah. And then here is the formal dining room. Again, I'm using lighting that I've never used before, and I'm also using wallpaper that I've never used before. So yeah, really trying to branch out into different things. Once I put this table down, I did realize that it was way smaller than I had anticipated. I don't even know if your Sims can get around. So I ended up expanding the dining room a little bit. So cheating slightly, but it didn't change the outdoor area that much. So I thought it was okay. And the dining room is actually massive because I did use the like 3x1 table. So it is a pretty large dining room, and it's actually really nice as well. It's a very open and airy sort of area. It's not too dramatic with the colors. I do like to make my colors a lot of times dramatic. I do really like darker colors, but this one has a very light and airy feeling, I will have to say. So there's not much. I mean, there's a couple of dark wood items, but as you can see, like the floor is kind of a neutral color. The walls are kind of pale, and yeah, I mean, it's very like white and kind of bright and yeah, stuff like that. But doing a little bit of very formal furnishing. Also, so I have kind of been deciding on what to do as far as the download link. So I am going away. This is actually a pre-recorded video. I'm going away for a couple of weeks, just on vacation, just to like chill. And yeah, so that means I don't know what to do about downloads, because I never like to release the download link before I actually upload my video. And yeah, so since I'm gone, I actually think the only viable solution is to wait until I come back to make this build available. So you have the build, you can see all of the sort of details about it, how I built it and stuff like that. But unfortunately, the download is going to be available probably in a couple of weeks or so. Yeah, that's the best I can do, unfortunately. But, it'll be there eventually. I mean, it's not like any other one that I've done, because usually I end up uploading the download link like weeks after I do the actual video. So, yeah. But this is the living room. The living room is actually quite small, but actually it's not super small. I didn't put like a middle coffee table because that would have made the space feel very cramped. So the only thing I did was add like a couch and a couple of chairs. I'm mixing and matching like the couch and the chairs, or what are those? Those little like armchairs, I guess they're called. And yeah, the sofa's not like the best idea, because I think it has a very industrial like look to it. I think the back is like wooden and it has like metal on it, but you know what, I'm not really sure what style this house is. Again, this isn't particularly my style. Even though it's not my style though, I did really enjoy furnishing it, which was a little bit of fun. And yeah, so here I'm making kind of like an entertainment console. I saw these bookshelves that I've never used. I think this is the cats and dogs pack. And I ended up making a little like entertainment console. So I put some coffee tables, put the TV in the middle, and yeah, I did stick with those coffee tables, but I did want to try something else because they did stick out into the back wall, and you'll see me later like try cover it up. And yeah, And then so the rest of the house just has a study and a bathroom. And yeah, so it's actually a pretty large home. I mean, it's got like 2 pretty large beds, has like pretty big bathrooms. You even have a study, which my house doesn't even have a study. Our study is basically our living room or my bedroom or something like that. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool too because the foyer the foyer is its own separate room, which has access to the stairs. And yeah, the only thing though is that the stairs it's like in a weird position, but I think it works. You just add walls right next to it. Also, something I didn't talk about, it's kind of cool too because the kitchen actually has direct access to the dining room. It's behind the stairs. It's like 1 tile wide, it's behind the stairs, and yeah, it's just 2 archways, so your sim can get directly from the kitchen to the dining room. And I thought that was kind of cool. Sometimes you see those in older houses where it's like a butler's access. Sometimes where, you don't want your guests to see into the kitchen. Or you don't want your butler to use like the main area of the house and you just want the butler to have like its own separate access. So I was kind of taking inspiration from that a little bit, but it's pretty cool. You can just walk across really easily because if that wasn't there, you would actually have to go into the foyer, into the living room, and then into the dining room, which would take significantly longer than if you were to go use that little archway pathway. And yeah, so here's the furnishing of the bathroom. Again, recently I've really been enjoying not doing too much editing in terms of my builds. Now that also means that I have to sacrifice time. So that means like a lot of my videos are more lengthy and than they would usually be. I think in a couple of my other videos I've said like, oh, I really want to make this under 20-minute mark. And I found that so difficult. I had to cut out so much, and I don't really like cutting out a lot of my stuff because I don't know, I feel like some of it is like super important, and even if it's some dumb thing that's like extremely tedious and cumbersome or something, like I still want to show it. And yeah, so that means my videos are a lot longer. I think my last video was about like 30 minutes. This one's like 26 minutes. Yeah. Okay, and so now we're tackling the upstairs. The upstairs, I mean, as you can kind of guess, it wasn't like that long to furnish, obviously, because the walls are a little bit tough to see. You can see into this little section, which I made the bedrooms. I mostly made them the bedrooms because they have the big windows. On the 2 other sides, they have like really tiny windows. And yeah, so I knew I wanted to make the bedrooms in these 2 little dormers, and I managed to get 1 master bedroom and another bedroom that actually can fit 2 Sims in. So I have like 2 single beds next to each other. So, technically I guess 4 people can live here. More maybe if you convert the study into a bedroom. That is a really small bedroom though, that little study downstairs. And yeah, so here when I'm furnishing it, I actually think that it's like decently furnished, but when I go into the screenshots, you'll realize how empty it looks. Yeah, because I wasn't really, I don't know, putting things on the wall was a little bit tough. And yeah, so here is the other bedroom. It was supposed to be non-gender specific, and I think it still is non-gender specific. I mean, you can have any gender live here, but I guess it kind of looks like they're for 2 boys. I mean, who cares? Whatever. You can do whatever you want. I would be happy to live in one of these, sleep in one of these beds or something like that. So yeah, just putting a couple posters, I thought, yeah, this would be kind of like a kid's or teen's bed. I don't really do like kids' bedrooms that often, so this was my attempt. Yeah, and it actually turns out to be pretty large as well. You have like that entire section. So I put a closet there, and yeah, I mean the two Sims don't have their own closet, but you can share, and there's still like a lot more room left. So here is the guest bathroom. As you can see, I'm trying to put the toilet paper roll on the wall, but because the walls are down, it makes it like significantly more difficult to do. So yeah. And basically the furnishing of the whole upstairs is really weird because there's not much, especially when we get into this master bathroom. The furnishing is like super minimal. I was going to include it into the screenshots, but it just looked so weird because I didn't have anything on the walls and not that many furniture items. So I ended up, at least I don't think I included any of it in the screenshots, because I do have a lot of screenshots of the exterior. I really like the way the exterior looks. I think it kind of looks cool. Yeah, and it's pretty decently sized. I did add some railings in, you know, for safety precautions. And yeah, I think we're going to do the outdoor now. And yeah, so those are the coffee tables that are sticking through. That's from the entertainment console, and I decided to add benches in front of it to just kind of cover it up, because I really liked the way the entertainment console looked, and I didn't really have any other idea of how I could fix it, so I just decided to cover it up, which was really cool too, because the entertainment console, because both items actually came from cats and dogs, and usually with packs, I like to use packs together because a lot of times they have like wood or colors that are really similar. And with cats and dogs, they had the wood pattern that was really similar, or actually the exact same. So I thought it matched really well. And yeah, so I didn't really have any other idea of what to put there. So yeah, I mean, you have a nice outdoor eating area that's right outside the dining room, so it makes sense, and you have a nice little sitting area right outside the living room. There is no access to the outdoors from the living room. I was going to put one in, but it just looked weird. I think at one point I put a door instead of that large cats and dogs window, but it would have covered it up, and I just didn't really like it. And yeah, so now we're getting onto the outdoor lighting. I'm finally remembering to do outdoor lighting because I usually forget, but yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I did do a couple of like lanterns around. I did do a little bit of landscaping, not too much. I did add in a couple of trees, and a lot of these items are, I think, cats and dogs. Yeah, I did put that little that like wood store, I'm not sure what it's called, but you store like logs in there for fireplaces. I know this house doesn't have a fireplace, but I thought it looked cool, so I added it in. I don't know, you can have like a bonfire or something. Actually, I don't know, would you use logs in a bonfire, or would you use sticks on the beach bonfire? I'm not sure, but this house is next to the beach, and yeah, so it's actually really great views. That's why I really like the wraparound porch, because it's right next to the beach. You have access, and I mean, if you live next to the beach, who wouldn't want to have like wraparound porches that you can just go outside and just enjoy the sounds of the waves. And yeah, so I added those planters in the front, and I decided to use red because I felt that it was very striking, and you would just kind of like walk by the house and be like, oh, that's a cool house, it's very very pretty looking, I guess. So yeah, this is it in the daytime. I actually prefer it in nighttime because I think that the lanterns give off like a really great glow to the house. And yeah, so this is basically what it looks like. I did really want to include this picture of what it looked like from the very front portion. And yeah, just the back. This is a foyer. The foyer is a little bit tinier. The stairs, especially because this is the medium wall height, the stairs are like 5 tiles wide instead of like 4 tiles. So that made the stairs kind of intercept into the foyer a little bit more than I would have liked. That's the dining room, which you can actually see into the kitchen. The only thing I don't like about it, though, is that when you go into the kitchen, or when you go from the dining room to the kitchen, you actually see directly into the stove, which I don't really like, but I had to put the stove there because all the other walls were taken, or the wall had a window on it, and I didn't want to put a window right behind the stove. And yeah, so here is the upstairs. Again, the bedrooms are pretty large. This is the outdoor area, which is quite nice. Here you can see onto the beach area. I don't know if I get any screenshots of it directly looking at the beach, but yeah, this is at nighttime. I love the way it looks at nighttime. The red flowers really pop, and you can see a lot of like the lighting I put around. And yeah, here's the floor plans. And yeah, that's really about it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.